All of this meant to be opening up the U.S. to tourism once again, but ensuring that they try to remain safe so doing.
That's right. November 8th is the date we're circling on the calendar. That's 2 weeks from today. And we did see this coming. The administration told us that there'd be a lifting of the blanket restrictions just about a month ago now. And we're getting details today. As you mentioned, non-U.S. citizens have to be vaccinated before they got on an airplane. They have to prove it, with a few exceptions, including countries that have insufficient access to vaccines. A lot of this has to do with testing as well. They would have to be tested, those without a vaccine, within 1 day of departure, down from 3. That goes for American citizens as well. A one-day test would be required for those who are not vaccinated or have no proof. Vaccinated Americans still required to show a negative result within 3 days of travel. And there's also a stipulation for children. Those under 18 are exempt from the vaccine requirement. They'll still have to take a pre-boarding test, but if they are with unvaccinated adults or if they're alone, they'll have to have a test that day before as well. And the CDC, lastly, is implementing a contact tracing order as part of this, so people who could be potentially exposed, they'll have a way to reach them as well. So we are seeing a bit of a break here at last in these restrictions.
Yeah, Joe, is this a break in the restrictions, though, or do you see this as sort of a clear dividing line between sort of separating people who can travel and making it more difficult for those who maybe aren't vaccinated?
Well, I'm not sure if we're making it more difficult. I mean, this exemption here for countries, for instance, that don't have as much access as the United States is an example of that. But sure, you can look at it either way. I just think people have been looking for some kind of guidance here, some kind of concrete go forward, and including the airlines themselves, of course, many of which have forced their own employees to adhere to a vaccine mandate.
Joe, how does this smooth over relations with certain countries that don't have the vaccines that they need right now, that are looking for that kind of support, and other countries where maybe the rules weren't as clear before?
Well, I think that just having clarity is really a big part of this here. So many countries have been asking what's taking so long, and so many foreign nationals, for instance, with family here, have wondered exactly what the holdup is. This is all happening, of course, just before President Biden heads to the G20 this weekend, and will be dealing with more than 100 countries at the COP26 UN Climate Summit next week. So the timing here is interesting, just as the president. Of course, it's the Biden administration putting out these bullet points, these new rules that we're talking about, just before he heads abroad now to talk to all of those same world leaders.